Yes, I had to get back on the R3 because the bike's amazing. So alrighty, so let's ride the R3 again. Got a guy on the R6 over there, the 2015. My knees are bent holding this bike up. It's gonna be so much better for shorter riders. Yamaha R3 Stage 2. I hope you guys can hear the sound better now. Shifting is so smooth. Yeah, I could not ride this bike one more time. I highly recommend you guys, if you have one of these little events, if you have one of these little riding events that Yamaha puts on, I definitely recommend you guys checking them out. Oh man, I like this bike too much. Man, beginner riders these days, you guys have it so lucky. You've got this R3 now, which is an absolutely phenomenal bike. And that's from a guy that rides a 600, you know? Like, you guys are so lucky. When I started riding, there was a Ninja 250 and it looked ugly. Now you have a Ninja 300, you have the CBR 300, you have the R3 now. I hope you guys appreciate it. So, best beginner 300. I've now ridden the CBR 300, I've ridden the R3 that I'm riding right now on the demo, and I've ridden the Ninja, I've ridden the 250s before. So I feel like at this point I can really talk to what the best beginner bike is, and I do have some opinions on it. So I figured I'd talk to you guys about that while we're on this demo ride of the R3. So, as far as beginner 300s, the majors you got to consider are the Ninja 300, you got to consider the CBR 300, and you have to consider this truck going here, and you have to also consider the R3 now. And the R3 has the biggest engine of all the 300s. It's gonna be the one you can go the fastest on, but like, you know, you can have more engine in the bike, not necessarily better. Like, just because something has a better engine does not make, that's not the only qualifying factor. As far as the CBR goes, I feel like the CBR is my least favorite 300. I feel that it looks good. It looks, you know, it's kind of modeled after the Fireblade, but it's just not a good performing bike. When I rode the 300, it was really, the CBR 300, it was very meh. I didn't like it a lot. I wish it wasn't wet roads today, man. This would be a fantastic road to ride. So yeah, the CBR, it's just really meh. I don't feel like the CBR necessarily competes in the 300 class, which kind of makes me sad, because Honda has some pretty stellar bikes, but just nothing stood out with that bike. And so honestly, when you're looking in the 300s, man, I feel like you got two options. You got the Ninja 300 and you got the R3 here. As far as the differences in them, I feel like they are both fantastic motorcycles, but I feel like there are slight differences that could sway you either way. The R3, for me, feels a lot more upright than the Ninja 300, so you're not going to feel as sporty riding the R3. The R3 definitely has more power than the Ninja, especially up high. The Ninja 300, what was great about the Ninja 300 is that it has the power for you to get on the highway and feel comfortable. You're not going to feel like you have an underpowered vehicle on a highway. Other than that, like the 300, I think could be really fun if you have a group of friends with 300s and you all go ride together. I think that would be a fantastic bike for that. Fortunately, that's not the scenario most people have. Most people are going to have friends with the leader bikes, people are going to have friends with 600s, and you're going to be learning to ride. And you know, if you have like an R3, you're not going to be able to keep up, or if you're starting to ride, you're not going to be able to keep up with those guys with like 600s if you're on a Ninja 300. Personally, that's not what I feel. Now the R3, I feel like this bike is the only 300 with the potential. I feel like this is the only 300 with the potential to have fun with some 600s. Because I feel like it's got torque right at the 9,000 range. Around that range, this bike will actually throw you back a little bit. And on a mountain with as lightweight as this R3 is, you're gonna be able to keep up, especially if you're a better rider. I have no doubt in my mind, if an experienced rider took this bike out, like up to the mountains and did some technical riding, you would easily be able to keep up, if not pass 600 guys on an R3. I don't feel like the Ninja necessarily has quite enough to be able to do that yet, but that's not a reason to not get a Ninja. You know, like you guys are looking at starting on bikes if you're watching this video and trying to figure that out. Whee! But yeah, I feel like the R3 has by far the easiest amount of power that somebody's going to have fun with. The beautiful thing I love about the R3 is if you get this bike and you start learning on it and you learn how to ride and you get comfortable with it and you start getting confident and getting the revs up higher, when you get the bike up higher, you're going to kind of discover the bike, like where it can really ride hard. And I think that's going to give you increased amount of time to keep the bike before, you know, having to upgrade. A lot of people say all the time, I don't want a 300 because I don't want to have to upgrade later down the road. I think the R3 is going to have way more life expectancy in your garage than the Ninja. And guys, I apologize to Honda, but we're not even going to talk about the Honda 300 anymore just because I feel like it's at a whole nother class. As far as aesthetics go, I think the Ninja 300 looks great. I love the styling features that it has, that it's kind of adopted from its bigger bikes. And the R3 has done the exact same thing. I was kind of looking at it earlier and I realized that the R3 has this kind of mashup between an FZ6R, that upright positioning with the clip-ons and whatnot, but then it also adopts the R6 kind of sport side. Personally, I feel like the R3 looks better, heads and tails better than all the other 300s. And personally, I think it's performed the best. I know I'm a Yamaha guy and I have Yamaha bikes, so I'm trying not to be biased. And I want to be very clear that the Ninja 300 is an amazing bike. But I feel like those are the two bikes that you need to be considering. You don't need to be considering a CBR, personally. I don't think you're going to have any fun with it. Whereas this R3, I own a R6 and I want an R3. I legitimately want it. So honestly, man, I put the R3 above the Ninja. The Ninja's a great bike, and it's like, if I was to rate the bikes 1 out of 10, I'll give them 1 out of 10 variants. A little pixelated variants. How about that? We'll put those on the screen. So for the Honda, sadly, overall, man, I got to give that Honda like 2 of them, man. I can't give that Honda any more than that. And I gave them 2 of them because it looks good. It looks like the Fireblade, but that's all I can really give it. The Ninja 300, I'll give the Ninja 300 probably 7. I'll give it 7 out of 10. Because it's a great bike. I feel like it can have a little more engine, and it has like a slightly more sporty position, so I was a fan of that. But the R3, I'm going to give it 8.5 to 9 stars because it has the power you want in a 300, but it doesn't deliver it until you need it to. Also, the styling is absolutely fantastic. Oh, that's a quicker stop than I expected. I got to give it to the R3, man. Yamaha, you guys did a fantastic bike, and all you beginner riders out there, I think you're going to really love this bike. You can actually like rev it up high and have a good time. Oh my God, I love it. Guys, if you get the opportunity, just go test ride it. Jump on a bike, go to your local dealer, and ask them if you can test ride, you know, these 300s. Take my word a little bit, but don't just take my word as the gospel, you know. The best way you guys are going to figure out if a bike is good for you is by test riding it. I personally love the R3 the most. I think the Ninja's right behind it, and I think the Honda's below that, but you know, you might like the Honda more. The best thing you can do is go out and test ride them. At least go sit on them, you know. I think that's going to be your best shot. And I mean, that's my opinion, man. R3 first, Ninja 300 second, with the Honda 300 after that. And that's with after riding all 3 of them. And I've gotten about the same amount of seat time on all 3 bikes. So it's pretty equal as far as the experience I've gotten. And that's my opinion, guys. I hope it helps you out if you're looking into a best beginner bike in the 300 class. that is that's all I really gotta say, guys. I'm gonna finish up this first ride and get this R3 back. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Uh-oh, let's go. Yay, R3! Look at that, no problem. No problem at all. Oh, that's so fantastic, man. Guys, I've been Chase on Two Wheels. I hope you liked the video. I'll see you on the next one.